Hello and welcome to the 12 days of Craftmas. This is day 4. Okay then, let's get on with the next part. So we are now going to be looking at putting in the stairs into our book nook and also the Christmas tree. Now again, you can kind of decide for yourself exactly where you want these pieces to go. This is very much a choose your own adventure project. I'm just going to show you one way of putting them in, but yours can be completely different. There are so many different configurations that the design team have done as well, to take inspiration from those. So I'm going to start by getting a lot of die cutting pieces done. So like I said, I'm going to do the stairs, I'm going to do the Christmas tree, and I want some decorative pieces to go with that as well. So if I go back into my die set, there's my stairs. I'm going to need the Christmas tree as well, which is on here. And then I need some of the smaller decorative pieces too, which are all very helpfully on here. So I'm going to die cut myself first of all 2 sets of steps for my stairs. I think I'm going to do 3 trees, and then I'm going to do some baubles. I'm going to do some presents and a few bits of garlands and foliage, and probably some bows as well to decorate the stairs with. So let's get on with some die cutting. Okay, so I have all of my die cut pieces. So for the stairs, I have 2 stairs. I've got some garland pieces and a couple of bows. And then for the Christmas tree, I have 3 Christmas trees, 2 presents in 3 different colours, and then an assortment of the tiny little baubles as well. So I'm going to start with my stairs first of all. I'm going to add a little bit of ink again, just to add some extra detail and highlight some of the edges. So once again, I'm going to fold down the score line and then go in from the edge with my ink just to darken up the edge slightly. And this is certainly something that you can do with a lot of these die cuts that you're adding in. You can even do it with the pattern papers as well if you want to. You can add some extra inking to the edges of some of those. Especially where you're adding pieces that are perhaps in the background, adding a little extra bit of ink can help give the illusion of depth and shadow. So I'm just going around the inside of the banisters, just adding a little touch of extra ink to the edges of that. I'm going to do the same again on the front one. So I've added my ink to my stairs and now it's time to decorate. So I'm going to add in, first of all, a couple of garland pieces to each one. So a bit of glue on the back. I'm just going to roughly arrange these up the banister. What I wish I could do in my own home every Christmas, but I've never managed to find garland pieces that looked nice and didn't break the bank. So I don't have any just yet. Maybe this is the year. Okay, this one, and the next one. And I am going to add some drops to this, which is why I'm doing this part first, so I can leave my drops to dry. And then I'm going to add a couple of bows. So again, I'm just going to shape the bows slightly, just so they stand up a little bit. I'm going to put the gold one over the join of the garland. So just bending those loops up and the ribbon tails slightly. Dot of glue onto the back. There's the bows, and then the red ones. Of course, you don't have to decorate the stairs with garlands. You've also got holly. There's a lovely little wreath die that you could cut. There's the other frond pieces as well, would also work really nicely. Okay, now for some drops. I'm going to grab in a little scrap just to make sure my drop is flowing nicely. That looks good. And I'm going to add some very teeny tiny little red berries onto my garland pieces. This is a great time to grab out any of those drops that you've not used for a while. All of your festive colours, the glitter drops especially. Okay, so I'm going to pop those just up there. I want my drops to, they're not going to be fully dry, of course. We do recommend that you leave them for 24 hours or so to fully dry, but at least they will be hopefully touch dry before it comes to putting them into my book nook. Right, tree then. I'm not going to ink this one, although you definitely could. Like I said, adding a little bit of inking around the edges of some of these pieces, it just helps to make them a little bit more 3D, give them a little bit of extra life. So while you're taking the time to make this for yourself, or if you are in fact gifting it to someone, the finished product, you're going to take that time, add a little bit of extra detail. So I'm just folding these up the score line in the centre. If you do find it difficult where you've got the score line running up to the point, if you put your precision glide folder at the point where the score line is, you can then just fold it over the edge and that will help you to bend directly on the score line. And I am really burnishing the score line on these. I want them to be nice and crisp and stand up nice and neatly. I'm also going to do the same then with the presents. Because I've done mirror card for these, I'm not going to use my precision glide folder. I don't want to crack the mirror card, and these don't need to be quite as crisp because we're only doing 2, not 3. Okay, last one. And once you've got everything nicely creased, it is just a question then of gluing it together. So I'm going to retire precision nib for a second. No scratchy glue here. Let's start with the presents then. Pop some glue onto one side. And you're going to take your other present, line them up, and then just press them and hold them just for a moment and give the glue a chance to grab. Make sure they're nicely lined up so you don't have any white edges, especially if you are using a white backed card. What you can also do, if you are using a white backed card and you do have any sort of white edges on here, you can grab an alcohol marker in a similar colour to your mirror card and just run it around the edge, and that will sort of colour in any of those white patches for you. Okay, there's one. I'm going to repeat that now with the other presents. There we go, 3 gifts ready to go. I'm going to do now exactly the same with my tree. So gluing one side. Try and make sure you do get right to the points on the tree. You don't want it to peel apart any of the edges. And take time to line it up as well. And then pinch until the glue grabs. There is my Christmas tree ready to go. The last thing that I'm going to do then is to add on all of the little baubles. Well, maybe not all of them, there may be too many. I have just cut a multitude. So I'm just going to start dotting glue over the planes of my tree and then just adding the baubles on. Now that the tree has baubles on, it is time to add these into the book nook. So if I bring this back in, we're going to be working on the sides. Oh, sorry, too low, too low. We're going to be working on the sides here. So you need to choose which side you want your stairs to go. Nope, in fact they only go this way because of the way they're die cut. There we go. So my stairs are going to go here, and therefore my Christmas tree is going to go on this side. So I'm going to do my tree first. Now what I would suggest that you bear in mind for this, try not to overlap the edge of your pattern paper here, because that is going to cause a problem when you then come to fold this up when we add in that main structural support in the center. And also you will notice there is a line, it's a kind of fuzzy line, but there is a line here where we go from the stone into the kind of interior, and that is where we're going to be putting the support. So don't come too far over, because then you're going to have less room for the front of your book nook. So I'm going to sit mine roughly here, the back two parts of my tree, and not quite touching the end line there. I think that's going to be a good spot for those to sit. So I'm going to put some glue with my other glue, no scratchy glue. I'm going to put some glue all the way across the back of my tree. Again, making sure you get right to the points. And up the center as well. And I'm just going to press this straight into the nook itself. You may find your precision glide folder helpful here, just to press that into place. Okay, and then with the presents I'm going to add a couple under the tree, and I'm going to put one on the fireplace, because if you imagine once this is then closed up, there would be a present probably somewhere here as well to the side. It's still technically under the tree, but it's more on the back wall. Then the presents are in place. If you are adding anything to your fireplace, obviously don't forget you've only got glue tabs down the side, so using your precision glide folder or something similar underneath so you can press against it will really help to get you some good adhesion with your glue without actually smashing the fireplace, which we definitely don't want to happen at this point. Okay, I'm happy that is now firmly press into place. So it's time to get the staircase in. So you have two sets of stairs which are going to sit here, then obviously they're going to be, once we have the nook closed, somewhere here. Now what you can do with this if you want to is raise the back stair case up slightly so that when you've got the two of them they are slightly staggered and you do see the back one. Entirely up to you, you can put them both at the same level. However you want that to happen. And again, don't forget you've got that blurry line down here where the exterior becomes the interior, and you want to keep it this side of that line as much as possible. So I'm going to have a look at my two staircase pieces, decide which one I want to be the front, which I think is going to be this one. I'm going to add glue right the way across my glue tab. Again, make sure you do get it right to the very edges. This is all that's holding your staircase on in your book nook, so it is important that it is well glued. I'm going to press that into place, and once again you'll probably find that your precision glide folder is very handy here, just to get some good even pressure across that glue tab, just to really hold that into place. The other thing your precision glide folder is perfect for, if you do have any glue that spills out of the edge, because of the material that this is, it will help you just to get rid of that. There we go. Then I'm going to put in my second set of banisters behind there, and I am going to raise this ever so slightly. Make sure you leave enough of a gap so you can see them both. Don't want them to be too close together. Okay. Again, I'm going to use my glide folder just to press right the way along that glue tab. Make sure that has a good bond, and then it is a good idea just to pull that closed, see how that looks, make sure you've got enough clearance for your stairs in front of your fireplace as well. You can always shimmy them around while the glue is still wet. Once it's dried though, that's it, it's in place. Okay, so our book nook is taking shape. You can see now it's starting to come together. So this is where we are going to end for day 4. Don't forget to join me again in the next video where we will continue from here. Happy Craftmas!